Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into something pretty thought-provoking. We're going to be looking at prescribed duties versus, actions that are basically driven by our desires.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah. We'll be exploring a commentary on a specific verse, verse 35 from chapter 3 of the Gita for Joyful Living. And the core idea that we're going to unpack is, well, this. Sticking to your chosen profession, even if you're not, like, the absolute best at it, is actually preferable to being amazing at something that falls outside, your prescribed duty.
I see. So it's not just about what we're good at. There's more to it, right?
Right. So to get us started, could you break down this whole concept of prescribed duties? What does the source say about it?
Well, it seems to suggest that each of us has this unique path, a set of actions that are kind of tailor-made for our nature. It's like almost like we have a blueprint. And this really reminds me of the idea of dharma.
Dharma. Ah, yeah. For our listeners who might not be familiar with this term, could you give us a quick explanation?
Definitely. Think of dharma as your unique purpose or path in life. It's that sweet spot where your inherent talents and the needs of the world intersect.
That's a great way to put it. Now, the source gives this interesting example of a college student who's, well, struggling with academics. And the advice given is, to stick with it rather than switching to something like, say, business or politics, where they might actually excel.
It's challenging that conventional wisdom, isn't it?
It really is. And this brings up a question for me and maybe for our listeners, too. Have you ever felt that kind of pull between what you feel you should be doing, versus what truly resonates with you deep down?
Oh, absolutely. I think many of us can relate to that feeling of being torn between duty and passion.
So how does the source reconcile this then? I mean, it's placing a lot of emphasis on sticking to a path, even if it's tough, even if there are other things we might be better at. How does that fit in with our, modern ideas about pursuing passions and talents?
Well, the source seems to be suggesting that chasing what we think we're good at, especially if it falls outside our prescribed duties, might lead to, external success, but ultimately leave us feeling empty, like we're missing something. It's about recognizing that true fulfillment comes from aligning with our dharma, not just chasing after desires.
And this ties in perfectly with that powerful line from verse 35 that really struck me. Even death in one's own duty is better. It is harmful to pursue non-prescribed duties. This statement is so, so absolute. What do you think the implications are for living the fulfilling life, based on this verse?
Well, it highlights the importance of understanding the difference, right, between actions that are motivated by our true purpose and those fueled by, let's say, fleeting desires. It's about choosing the path of inner harmony over, the pursuit of just external achievements.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, going back to the source's emphasis on sticking to one's chosen path, is there room for exploration before fully committing? Could exploring different avenues actually be beneficial in helping us uncover our true calling?
That's a great question. Perhaps the source is acknowledging that, self-discovery isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. But the key here, it seems, is approaching this exploration with a sense of intention. It's not about flitting from one thing to another based on whims, but about using these experiences to gain a deeper understanding of our inherent strengths and inclinations.
And this idea of understanding our strengths and aligning them with our actions, it's something that resonates with a lot of modern career advice, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. There's a growing movement encouraging people to find work that aligns with their values, something that utilizes their natural talents, even if it might not be like the most lucrative or the most prestigious option out there.
Right. It's about finding that sense of purpose, that inner alignment. So to sum up our deep dive today, it seems like the core message revolves around understanding the difference between actions driven by our prescribed duties, our dharma, and those that are purely desire-driven.
Exactly. And then taking it a step further, it's about recognizing the importance of staying committed to our chosen path, even when we hit those inevitable roadblocks and challenges.
Absolutely. It's about resilience, perseverance, and trust in the process.
And this brings us to a question for our listeners to ponder. If, as the source suggests, following your prescribed duty is indeed a path to a joyful life, how can you begin to identify and align yourself with your own unique dharma?
It's a powerful question, and one that's worth some serious reflection. And on that note, we'd like to thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it sparked some new insights and given you some food for thought as you navigate your own path in life. Thanks for listening.